Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. In this video, we are going to talk about why everyone is leaving India for another countries. For the first time in modern history, India is not just the world's most populous nation, it is also the world's largest exporter of people. Not goods, not software, not services, people. Every year, millions of Indians pack their lives into suitcases and leave the country they were born in, not because they hate India, but because they feel they can no longer build the life they dream of here. This is not a story of betrayal. This is a story of survival, a story of ambition, a story of frustration, and most importantly, a story of a nation slowly watching its brightest minds walk away. India currently has over 1.5 crores of its citizens living abroad. If you include people of Indian origin, that number crosses 3 crores. That is not a small community. That is an entire country's worth of people living outside the country. Every year, more than 20 lakh Indians leave. Some go for education, some go for work, some go because they married someone overseas, and some go because they simply do not see a future here anymore. And this exodus is not slowing down, it is accelerating. When we talk about people leaving India, we often imagine only software engineers moving to Silicon Valley. But the reality is far bigger. Construction workers go to the Gulf, nurses go to the UK, students go to Canada and Australia, researchers go to Germany, doctors go to the US, entrepreneurs go to Dubai. Families go wherever they believe the children will breathe cleaner air, attend better schools, and live safer lives. The Indian dream has slowly turned into the foreign dream. For decades, Indians believed that if you work hard enough, study well enough, and stayed loyal to your country, success would follow. But today, that belief is cracking. Not because Indians have become lazy, but because the system has made it harder and harder for talent to thrive. India produces millions of graduates every year engineers, doctors, scientists. But how many of them actually get jobs that match their skill? How many of them get salaries that match their effort? How many of them get working conditions that respect their dignity? For many, the answer is painful. Very few. Fresh engineer in India may earn 4 to 6 lakh rupees a year, sometimes even less. The same engineer abroad may earn 50 to 60 lakh rupees or more. A doctor in India may struggle with long hours, poor infrastructure, and political pressure. The same doctor abroad works with world class equipment and institutional respect. A researcher in India fights for grants. The same researcher abroad is funded and encouraged. So, people ask why Indians are leaving. The real question should be why wouldn't they? Education is another battlefield. Every year, more than 5 lakh students compete for a few thousand seats in an elite Indian institution. The IITs, the IIMs, the AIMs, IIScs, they are world class, but they cannot absorb the massive talent India produces. The result is predictable. Students who don't get those seats look abroad, and once they go abroad, many never return. In 2024 alone, more than 7 lakh students went overseas for higher education. This is not just migration. That is the future workforce of India studying somewhere else. And once these students experience better campuses, better research facilities, better exposure, and better job pipelines, India begins to look smaller in comparison, not emotionally, but professionally. Then comes quality of life. Crowded cities, broken infrastructure, rising pollution, unsafe roads, weak public health care, endless competition for everything, from school seats to hospital beds. For many families, migration is no longer about money, it's about sanity, it's about peace of mind. Parents are willing to leave behind relatives, festivals, and similar streets just so their children can grow up in a system that works. This is not abandonment. This is desperation. And then there is politics. When institutions feel unstable, when social divisions rise, when people feel they must constantly watch what they say, think, or post online, the desire to live grows stronger. Not everyone wants to fight battles every day. Some people simply want to live their lives in peace. Migration becomes not just an economic decision, but a psychological escape. For decades, the United States was the ultimate destination, the American dream. Silicon Valley, Wall Street, Ivy League universities. And for Indians, the H-1B visa was the golden ticket. Indians dominated this program. At one point, nearly 70% of all H-1B visas went to Indians. The US tech industry ran on Indian talent. But now, that dream is changing. In 2025, the United States introduced a shocking new rule, a one-time $100,000 fee for new H-1B visa petitions. $100,000. That is more than the life savings of many Indian families. This fee does not apply to renewals, but it applies to anyone new trying to enter the system. This single decision changed everything. Suddenly, the American dream became an elite privilege. Only the biggest companies can afford it. Only the richest firms can sponsor it. Small startups cannot. Mid-level employers cannot. Talented young Indians who once hoped to build their careers in the US now face a wall of money. This is not just a visa fee. This is a gatekeeper. Ironically, while the US closes doors, the other countries are opening them wider. Canada has built an immigration system that rewards skills, education, and work experience. Australia offers clear pathways to permanent residency. Germany needs engineers and healthcare workers. Japan needs young labor. The Gulf offers tax free income. The competition for Indian talent is global, and India is losing that competition. But migration is not only loss, it's also gain. Every year, Indians abroad send back money, and a lot of it. In 2024-25, remittances to India crossed $135 billion. That is more than what many countries earn from exports. This money builds homes, pays school fees, funds businesses, and support families. Indian economy survives on its migrants more than we like to admit. Yet, money cannot replace minds. When a country loses its best doctors, it weakens its healthcare system. When it loses the best engineers, it weakens the innovation. When it loses its best researchers, it weakens its future. This is the real danger of mass migration. Not numbers, not headlines, but hollowing out the middle and the top layers of talent. Some people argue that this is not brain drain but brain circulation, that Indians go abroad, gain experience, and return. And yes, some do return, but many don't. They build their lives abroad. Their children grow up speaking different accents, celebrating different national days. India becomes memory, not home. The emotional cost of migration is rarely discussed. Parents grow old without their children. Children grow up without their grandparents. Festivals are celebrated over video calls. Funerals are attended through screens. Life becomes global, but relationships become distant. And yet, people will still live because staying feels harder. Every generation makes its own choices. Earlier generations stayed and struggled. Today's generation moves and rebuilds. Neither is wrong. Both are responses to the realities of their time. But a country must ask itself one hard question. Why are so many of my people choosing to build their future somewhere else? Is it just because other countries are better, or because we have failed to make our own country better for them? Thanks for watching.